I got a thrifting video on deck for you today. I actually started filming yesterday. My kids had a snow day. I told my husband, let's divide and conquer. I took my oldest with me. He took the youngest with him, and I went out and did my normal Wednesday thrift. It's now Thursday, and I'm thrifting some more. I found a lot of good stuff when I was out thrifting yesterday, and I'm hoping to continue the pattern. But first I had to stop and get boba, and I got about 30 minutes before the boba starts to get really hard and tough. But these are the fresh, warm ones, and oh my God, nothing better. So let's start from yesterday, and I'll show you all the cool stuff I found when I was out thrifting. Roll the intro. Heading into thrift number 1 for a POV thrift with me as a full-time reseller. First stop is always going to be the showcase, but lately their showcase beauty has been super overpriced. The body firm facial treatments are not going to be worth it for resale, and really the only crepe erase products that are the repair treatment tubs. The rest of the line will sell on eBay, but it's usually not going to be for a lot in terms of resale value. And I'm sorry, but even as an Amazon seller myself, I'm not going to trust an Hermes that was sold on Amazon, which is what that sticker means. Also, for $100, it's not going to be worth it for resale. The $8 Obsession powder would be great if it wasn't already opened and heavily used. So I'm going to pass on this one as a reseller. The Sony radio for $200 is laughable because I guarantee they plugged in the model number to eBay, saw this $200 best offer sold, and went, yep, that's what it's worth. And that's why the thrifts really need to stop doing that, because this didn't sell for $200 on eBay, it sold for $150. And it's a very strange outlier since they usually sell for about $60 with consistent sold comps. I really want this Superchargers portal for Xbox One. Only the Xbox One portals are really worth it to me for resale. But this one is part of a $100 lot with a bunch of Skylanders figures, and even at half off, it's really just not going to be worth it. They wheeled out a new cart, which is always exciting when thrifting. This is usually where I get my best stuff, but today there was nothing that interested me unless you find a $60 PlayStation 1 interesting. I was hoping these boxes were going to be some beauty products worth something on eBay, but no, they're just flashlights. I moved on from the case and was surprised to see another Obsession powder, but this one's actually sealed and it's still only $8, so that's coming with me to sell on eBay. Shameless plug to go follow my Faceless Project Thrift Shop Cats on TikTok or Instagram. Went to check out the miscellaneous aisle and found a Babyliss Pro C-shaped styler, and I'm not sure how to pronounce this brand, Lange 360 Air Styler. I actually already sold the C styler for $40 on eBay, and the Air Styler should be a nice cherry on top for this haul. I also found a Babyliss Pro Marcel iron. I probably shouldn't have grabbed it, but I still think I can make 100% ROI reselling it on eBay. But not all Babyliss are worth it. I found most of the curling irons and wands don't really sell for as much on eBay as the straighteners, so I'm gonna leave this one behind. These gemstone digs are such a $1 million idea. Compress a bunch of dirt into a brick and then hide polished stones inside and charge an arm and a leg. They're great time wasters though. I would send my kids outside to hack at these and I would get an hour of silence, so I can't recommend it enough for that purpose. I love picking through doll bags, but today there were no dolls that interested me from a resale perspective, and with doll bags being $8 to $10 now, it's hard to justify as a reseller if there's only one doll I want. Went through all the toys and didn't find anything of interest to resell, so that sucks, but I did manage to find one more password journal. I just listed one earlier this month for $40 on eBay, and I think I'll get it since I have the cheapest one currently listed, and now I have two. I found one more item in the checkout line, and it was this Pier 1 Chai Pumpkin diffuser. I usually ask $25 on eBay for these mini diffusers, and that was everything that I grabbed at our first thrift stop. Next stop in our Thrift With Me video is the combination Goodwill and Goodwill bin store. This location is rarely jam-packed, but it is somewhat busy today. I would love to pick up this Pottery Barn Kids backpack. PBK stuff does really well on the resale market, but I personally don't pick up personalized items. I wish porcelain dolls had any value, but the vast majority, even these Disney ones, have no resale market online. Maybe this is a stupid pickup, but I don't know. I got this Diet Coke tote bag to sell on eBay. Diet Coke and Dr. Pepper are the two sodas people are most obsessed with, so I think there's a Diet Coke girly out there who would like to have this. And yes, it did come clean in the wash. I usually pick smalls at the bins, but every so often a big comes along that I can't ignore for resale. This looks like crap, right? But building a trinket collection displayed on a trinket shelf is very in right now on social media, and I know I can sell this piece. It's one of those things where I can't give you concrete proof with exact comps, you're just gonna have to trust me. Latex pacifiers are usually a good find for reselling, but they do have to be new in the package. Grabbed this for some thrift shop cats content. This is the second time I found an Avon fiber optic village at the bins. I love finding and selling these on eBay, even with a person on the bridge snapped off. It might not sell again until Christmas, but that's fine for long tail inventory. I have faith in it. And actually, it worked right off the bat. I will buy and sell bar mats on eBay, but I looked this one up and it seemed to not have strong demand. But this one actually had one listed and one good sold comp, so it's a much more favorable purchase. I'm gonna grab this one. I made a reel about a JanSport backpack I found at the bins and sold on eBay and had some people say that they didn't know JanSport had value for resale. It's really only the leather or suede bottom ones that sell well on eBay and not the Trans by JanSport ones, and definitely not if the bottom is peeling up like this. I'm only about halfway done picking and I'm getting too warm and over it at the bins. I keep attracting the big stuff today. This is a Nerf crossbow that I mentioned in my Nerf Bolo video. It will snap back together, it's not broken. I think the last one I had sold for 60 or so shipped on eBay. It's not a super fast mover, but I can't resist. This is more my speed. It's a Disney Parks Pixar ball. It's got loads of scuffs, but it actually cleaned up really nicely with a little magic eraser. I paid probably 50 cents and I sold it for $15 on eBay incredibly fast. Then on my way to check out, I saw someone had nabbed a Pokemon Master Trainer game, probably from one of the fresh bins. I used to find and sell these all the time back in the day for like $25 on eBay, but they've since gone way up in resale value. I paid $15.23 for everything at the bins, but most of that was the crossbow and the trinket shelf. We went back to the regular side, and the first thing I noticed was a Carhartt shirt sticking out. It turns out it's a men's scrub top, brand new with the tags. Shirts here are $5, so I'm gonna grab it. They retail for around $30 and sell consistently on eBay. Surprised to see some cheap Olaplex. You can tell the spray hasn't been used since it still has the top part of the shrink wrap, and the other one was still sealed under the lid. I actually already sold that one for $22 on eBay. And that's about what the other should sell for as well based on sold comps. I talked about Carefree curl products on my Patreon a long time ago, and I also mentioned them on my Facebook recently. This would be a great find for reselling, but it seemed used, so I passed on it, but it's a line you should keep your eye out for when you're thrifting to resell. A fresh cart is on the floor, and of course, I'm gonna take a look. First thing I noticed was this Hamburglar backpack. It looks pretty vintage, and I don't even remember what the backpack price is here, but he's gonna come with me. There's one person trying to get a bunch for it, but the Terapeak data doesn't support it. It's rare for sure, but not necessarily in demand on eBay. I'm gonna ask high, but not that high, and we'll see what happens with this listing. I have a feeling it's gonna need to be marked down and sit a while before it sells. I am firmly in my fiber optic era, so of course I had to grab this fiber optic Halloween pumpkin to sell on eBay. Do I have the exact data to support it? No. But do I have the gut to support it? Yes. Also, in general, fiber optic pumpkins seem to do okay on eBay, plus this one has the box, which will help a lot with the resale value. My son plugged in this Three Stooges golf thing, but Mo's missing his hand and his club, and only Curly seems to be able to move properly. So this is pretty beat up, and it's not going to be worth it to resell. Yet another item I could not find exact data on, but for the price, it feels like it should be worth it, so I'm going to try and get $25 on eBay. Right next door, though, is this item that looked interesting. I had no idea what it was, so I looked it up on eBay, and it's a device for TVs and hearing aids, and it looks like it's going to be very profitable based on sold comps. And honestly, I might not have noticed it if the mic didn't catch my eye first. Somebody must have loved golf and Three Stooges, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably died. Toys did not have much for me today from a resale standpoint, but I gladly picked up this modern She-Ra doll for only $2 to sell on eBay. She has no armor or sword, but at least she has her outfit, boots, and tiara. The hair is severely matted though, but I can fix it before listing. I spent a little time sectioning it out, brushing it, and straightening it. You really can't get rid of the damage at the ends, so I just trimmed it off and she's looking a lot better and ready to sell online. If she was complete with armor and sword, she'd be an even better find, but I'm gonna ask $25 on eBay in this condition. I used a 30% off coupon and spent $14.94 on everything. Not a bad little two-stop reseller thrift haul. Let's see if we can keep the luck going. As I said before, I started off the next day thrifting with Boba. There's a Goodwill practically next door, but it's a newer store, and I usually don't find much for resale at the newer stores. I don't know what it is with the new Goodwills, but they're overwhelmingly terrible. So if it wasn't near Boba and also on the way to my other thrift stop, I wouldn't make a special trip here. Against my better judgment, I picked up this Barbie-sized Rolls-Royce car for $6 to sell on eBay. I hate shipping big stuff, but it does sell semi-regularly on eBay, even with the hood ornament snapped off. I should have left it, but I still feel strongly that if I list it for $50 shipped on eBay, it's gonna sell. So let's see if I'm right. This was the kind of lamp I would have killed to have in my bedroom in high school. I had a bright green room and this would have fit right in aesthetic-wise. Even if I can't find something to sell, I can at least find something for me. And I've never paid full price for my toothbrush heads because I keep finding them on clearance or at the thrift. So these will be coming home with me for personal use. I didn't get much here, but that's okay. That's a realistic part of thrifting for resale. I have a love-hate relationship with this next thrift. I've come here for a long time, and post-pandemic, the place has been insane. It never used to be this way. I missed an opportunity to park and I had to wait for someone else to leave. Even when it's not covered in snow, this lot is usually full. Prices at this thrift tend to be fair and they're always stocking, so I think that drives a lot of demand. They even have people line up before they open. That's something I've never done and never felt I needed to do to be competitive as a reseller. No sooner do I get in and check out the newer carts that another new cart is added and is immediately descended upon by the average clientele of this thrift. I can't see anything from my point of view that looks interesting, and I'm not going to be let into it anyway to look, so you know what? Not worth my time. I'm going to leave. This happens to every single new cart here, and it's so tiring because as you saw at the other stores, that's not really the case. I happily grabbed a $2 InStyler though. I usually sell these for $30 to $40 on eBay, no problem. I can occasionally find a good doll here, but today none of the dolls are good, but this one is wearing something I want, and that's Totally Hair Teresa's dress. That doll with this dress is easily $50 on eBay, but people will pay for the dress by itself as well. This one has some snags, but I feel like I can get $20 reselling it. Jump scare. I know not everyone looking through things with a phone is a reseller, but if she is, she missed picking up Sleepy Sherman. If he works, you can get about $30 on eBay for one. In this case, I got him home and he ended up not working anymore, but that's just how it is sometimes with thrift reselling. No risk, no reward. Also picked up this Zelda comic for my kid for just 50 cents. If you ask me, the kids' paperback should never be more than 50 cents at the thrift. And that ended up being everything I grabbed here, so it really wasn't worth the trip today. But I do have 2 more stops to go, so let's see if we can turn the luck around. There's another store right around the corner, but I'm not optimistic. I haven't found anything here in ages because they are big online sellers and they even do Whatnot now, live from the store. So the store is really just their shoppable warehouse of the stuff they didn't think was good enough to sell online. And it shows because the thrift I was just at was so busy, there's nowhere to park, but there's no one here and it's just a stone's throw away. It sucks when the store is so full like this, but there's just nothing good to resell. So I think I'm going to be giving up on this place. The very last stop is on my way home and it's a Goodwill, the smallest of the Goodwills that I shop at. Again, I go right for the new cart sitting out and I'm finally rewarded with something good. A vintage Pyrex Pueblo pattern casserole with the plastic caddy. I genuinely cannot believe I found this for only $5.50. It goes without saying that this is a great find for resale. They have been empty on beauty for quite a while, but they must have just stocked some. I can't resist anything cosmic or star themed and this smelled pretty good, so I guess it's gonna go in my personal perfume hoard. This sucks so bad because Bath & Body Works Whitewater Rush is worth about $40 in new condition on eBay, but this is clearly used. It's cheap enough that I will still get it and try to get it moved on Mercari, but I just don't have a ton of luck with Mercari. I have never heard of this brand, 11 Australia, but it looks like it sells with some consistency on eBay, so for $1.50, I'm gonna grab it. But again, it's important to note if something is used or not. You might think this one is, but according to the stock photos, it's not. They just seem to leave room at the top to shake it up, which is common in beauty products. So if you're ever unsure, try to find a stock photo. Yoinked, all 3 of these Philosophy mini perfumes. They were originally part of a gift set, so I'm going to be reuniting them and selling them together as a set on eBay. I have never heard of this brand either, but it said it had pheromones, and I'm going to look up anything that says that. And when I did, I found that this product sells multiple times per day on eBay. So even though it's not a huge payday, they're small and easy to store and ship, and for $1.50 each, they're gonna sell fast on eBay. Tried looking to see if any other Pyrex slipped out, but sadly, there were no others. Lastly, I grabbed this Bop It Smash for $2 because this is a very in-demand product on eBay, but unfortunately, when I got it home, someone must have smashed it too much because it no longer responds to anything. I paid $21.83 for everything I grabbed at this thrift stop. I was not expecting that at the end. Like, this Goodwill is my closest Goodwill, but I rarely go to it because 9 times out of 10, it's like I find nothing or I find one thing. But when it's ready to pay out, it pays out. And it was ready to pay out this time, so I'm glad that I stopped on my way home. But now I gotta get my kids from school and process all this stuff and then edit this video together. So I think I did pretty good. Anytime I set out with the intention to film a thrift, I tend to do well. So filming is definitely my good luck charm. As always, I love you guys. Drop a like if you liked the video. Leave me a comment. I love reading them. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook for all of my short form content, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to the channel, for more full-time reseller long form content. Now get out there, have fun, and find something good.